All right, so we can go into deployment details under the Kubernetes resource that I created, operation details, and I can see that it took about 4 minutes for the cluster to be deployed. That's those 3 nodes of 2 CPUs each, etc. I'm going to click on Go to Resource to go directly to the resource. Now, there's not much to see here from the Azure side of the portal. We can see that in a succeeded state running in Canada Central, the version number, the API server for connecting to Kubernetes controller. Let's go under node pools. Remember, we only created the 1 node pool by default. That's what's got the resources assigned to it. So the Linux operating system with 3 nodes created to this pool. If I wanted to add another pool, I could have a different Kubernetes version, a different operating system, a different size. You know, we can mix DS2s and DS4s by having multiple node pools. Now we can't, even though this says scaling, because we are operating under the node pool design, we can't scale everything from the top level. We have to go under node pools, under the 3 dots here, and then we can add, you know, another node or scale up or scale down, etc. We can even change the Kubernetes version that it's running. So I think at this point, like I said, there's not much to see here. Let's go into Cloud Shell in order to further talk with this Kubernetes service. Now remember, Cloud Shell is a command line that's running inside the Azure portal, and it does support both PowerShell and Bash, although I'm going to be working in Bash for this example. Now you could run this as a Bash command in your own CLI that's installed in your local. Not only do you have to then connect into Azure in order for it to recognize you, you also have to do a AZAKS command that will allow your local CLI to connect to AKS, download the appropriate software called Kubectl, Kubectl. You have to do this on your local in order to get that running. Well, this is already installed in the Cloud Shell. So by default, we haven't connected yet to our AKS. We do need to run a command called AZAKS get credentials. Now, I think I can hit the tab key here, and it's going to auto-complete the commands. That's a good handy thing to know if you can't remember exactly how something's spelt, or you're pretty confident that you've spelt it right. Now, in order to connect to the AKS, we're going to have to get the names of the things that we've created. Now, start with the resource group. I have to go into this window, resource group. And I called it AZSJD new cubes, if you see up here. And then we also have the name for the cluster itself. And remember, it's AZSJD new cube. And I can, well, it's right up here in the top left. That's the name of. So this is going to get the credentials to connect to the Kubernetes cluster. So now I have the right context. I can start using, like I said, the main command is called Kubectl, Kubectl. And we can just sort of start by looking at what we've got running already. So I say get nodes. And so now we're not talking with the portal, we're talking with the orchestrator, the traffic cop, if you will, that's running inside of Kubernetes. So now we can see the 3 DS2 servers that we have. They're in a running state. They've been running for 27 minutes at this point, and they're all running this version of Kubernetes. Okay. So at this point, we've established that they're running. We know that they're ready to go. Now what we're going to want to do is sort of deploy an app to this, right? So right now, there's no server running. There are servers running, but there's no IIS or Tomcat waiting for us to listen. We have to basically deploy that. So in the next video, we're going to push a sample application to this cluster, and we're going to see it running.